What's up, kids and kiddos? It's Silas, aka the Kid was here, aka the Kid. Got another video here for you guys today. This video today is going to be for all the aspiring artists who actually want to do things and actually just keep everything in-house or just make it on your own. Today's video, how to mix vocals.
Told mom I'm bringing home the bag, I am the man. Please understand who you know go hand in hand. Bend and turn 4 letters into the brand. Stick with
So first, before anything, I'm genuinely sending you guys good vibes, and I hope everyone is having a good day. And if you're not having a good day, hope your day continues to get better, and then we learn from this. For those who don't know me, I'm Silas Price. I'm an artist, I'm a YouTuber, and basically a content creator, you know? As a musician, I taught myself how to mix audio, produce my own beats, records, write, of course, and then just like even make my own music videos as such. The quick story and tale of all that is I got tired of people acting as gatekeepers, you know? Like, I was not able to achieve certain things in my career unless this other person did their part, you know? It's all about teamwork and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I'm a person like, I don't allow people to limit or hold me back.
Got the drop on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas, had a thought. She be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I see my girl text my cousin phone. Got the drop on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas, had a thought. She be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I see my girl text my cousin phone.
Now I will say mixing and mastering. I won't get too much into mastering today, but a little bit of few mixing tips and tricks. But I will say mixing and engineering is definitely an art. There is, since because music is art, there's never any correct way of how to do things. It's only suggestions of how to make your art better. So with that being said, one thing I could say is, like, if you're learning how to mix, master and stuff, always keep an open ear. Literally, like, keep an open ear, not just for sounds but also information, and always learn how to do something better, because you can always do something better. But mixing is probably, to me, the second or third most important thing in music. Of course, it's the way the way the song sounds and the way it's composed, but the second thing is definitely mixing. You can have a good song, but if the mix is horrible, then it's just like, the hell am I listening to? Also, mixing takes that good song to make it a great song. The music is alive, it's an art, so it's always changing, it's always evolving. So the stuff that applies now may not apply in a few years from now, and the stuff that applied back then, like 10, 20 years ago, may not even be a standard or suggestion anymore. Techniques, tips, and tricks are always changing, especially sometimes when people just discover new things. So it's important to always listen, don't get overconfident, and cockiness kills growth. Okay, there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. Cockiness is being so comfortable that you become complacent. Confidence is believing your abilities to grow. All right, so I'm not gonna bore, so let's just go ahead and jump straight onto this for these aspiring artists. Let me go ahead and turn on my screen recorder now. That way you can see what I'm actually doing. First thing you'll need to do is have a DAW. So basically, whatever your operating system or your workstation, like however you're going to mix and master and write. Some people use Pro Tools, some people use Logic. FL Studio, that's the one I've been using for like years now. So let me go ahead and turn on the screen recorder now. We can go ahead and get started. All right, got the screen record on. Let's go ahead and bring up a workstation. It's on my screen, so not too much worries. All right, so this is assuming that you already recorded your audio. I have 1, 2, 3. This too is the same recording. Well, not the same recording, it's one recording. I just split it up. So the first tip 1 that I say, it starts actually in the recording booth. Make sure your recording is as best as you can, okay? As best as you can. What I mean by that is, you need to just make sure that when you're recording, don't touch any settings whatsoever. What I mean by that is, a lot of people tend to raise the volumes. Pitch correction, I guess that's okay if your artists want to hear, like, get in a creative zone. But as far as volume, as far as any other settings, don't tweak anything whatsoever, like whatsoever. If you have to put anything on there, the only thing I recommend is the pitch correction or the auto-tune, in case the in case the artist is actually doing the recording, you know, because I know how that is. It's like, it gets you in a creative mindset, and then you're like, okay, that's how that sounds, let me go ahead. So other than that, don't touch the volume. It's a lot easier in post to make something louder than trying to make something softer. So that's just recording. And the second tip onto the recording process is record multiple versions of yourself. Record yourself, like, different styles of the recording, because first off, you never know what sounds good. Like, you don't want to be like focused or just like have a one-track mind, like, okay, I cannot change this, or okay, this is how it has to be. Be open-minded to it, because you'd be amazed at what comes out, what you just playing around in creativity. So what I have here is different layers, because a lot of time 90% of industry will probably do what's called punch-ins. So punch-ins basically, y'all, is an artist record. So let me go ahead and say, what's one of my lines? Look at me. She knew I was a man when she looked at me. They'll record that part, and then they'll punch in. So like, you know the man, you lick me. Dick so good she cooked for me. Her old dude cannot mess with me. Punching in, so basically record one line at a time. That way each line is full each time. Me, I don't have the luxury of having a producer or someone to be here with me, so it really slows down the time. So what I just do to counter that is I record multiple layers or multiple recordings. That way when something, or if there's a part of the recording that doesn't sound good, I can chop that out and then go to another different recording that sounds good. So that's what you see here. Different layers and different chops. So that's tip 1. Tip 2, once you already got your recording, once you got your beat, everything written and recorded, now you want to start cleaning up the noise. What I mean by that is, if you're not in a soundproof room, you're going to have noise. So I can explain it like this right here. You hear that air sound? It's that air sound. You're gonna take that out, and the reason why you're gonna want to take that out, it's gonna basically make your vocals cut through. Okay, you're not gonna hear that extra noise, because once you start mastering, once you start turning things up and stuff, that's gonna become really, really annoying, and you're gonna be able to hear that. So cleaning up the noise on FL Studio is something called a noise remover. It's in every program, noise reduction, noise remover. You can actually search it in your help bar, depending on your program. But what I'm gonna do is on FL Studio, how you do that is you double click the sound, and you're gonna it's gonna bring up the wave. You're gonna right click inside the wave and hit edit. From there, you're gonna basically go to a dead space in the recording. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit that way. And you wanna make sure it's just air. Don't grab no background sound, no noise. Like I'm talking about, like, you don't want any extra thing when you're picking off this noise reduction. You just want simply air, where it's completely as silent as it can be in a room. So I think I found one, just a little bit of air. And we're gonna click this toothbrush up here. Go back. This toothbrush here is called, I'll move this over here. So this is a cleanup or a denoise. And before we can denoise, we have to acquire the profile, because it's want to know basically what are you trying to denoise. And we're like, okay, we're trying to denoise what we think is the quietest part when we're the most quiet. So I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna acquire the profile, and it should clear out. Now what we're gonna do is hit Control A, or select the entirety of the track. Go back to the toothbrush. This middle part here lets me know that there was a couple of frequencies, like, so there must have been background noise or someone talking here. But it should essentially just look like a gradually declining line as such. I'm gonna hit accept. It's gonna remove all that noise. And what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna now apply that same noise reduction to all of my recordings. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the noise now. Now you can do it each individual recording. That's actually what I recommend if you record multiple layers, because you never know what sounds different or how that room is picking up vibrations and such. But as for this, to make it quick and easy and respectful of your time, I'm gonna actually just go ahead and just apply all this. Now mixing could take anywhere between 10 minutes to mix. It could take a whole 10 days to mix. There's really, like I said, there's no reason into this. There's no rhyme or reason. It's basically what you like, and every time you go back and listen to it, you're always gonna find something with it. A tip that a pro musician gave me, his name is Pat B. Pat B the Truth. Go look him up on YouTube. Awesome musician. But one thing he said is, as a engineer, you're gonna have to always, like, you're gonna have to set a deadline, because you're always gonna basically say, okay, I can do this, or this can be better, or this can be better, and this can be better. Nah, cut that out. Give yourself a deadline, work it to that deadline, then be done with it. And then that way you learn how to proceed in the next one. So after you take out all the noise, oops, let me go ahead and mute this.
Got the drop on 5.
So it sounds a little bit more clear. I should have played it without the noise. But so the next thing I'm going to do is, once I denoise, now the next thing I want to do is actually start mixing. So I'm going to assign these to their tracks. So that's assigned to track 2. I'm going to assign this to track 2. Assign this to track 2. That way, whatever edits I'm making on track 2 or mix 2, it will apply to those tracks. And actually, one cool thing I also recommend is just renaming your vocals, or renaming your mixes. So we're going to say this is Volks, and we're going to say this is I don't know, since it's aggressive song, I'm going to say it's Red. And we're going to transfer the beat to its own, so that's on 4. And there we go. So I'm going to mute the beat, that way I just hear simply the vocals. So here we go.
Got the 10 off the suds and phone. I was in on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas. Had a thought. She be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk.
All right, so let's go ahead and start mixing. So the first thing we want to do when mixing and EQing is basically an equalizer. An equalizer basically it's equalizing your frequency. Your voice has a frequency, and there are certain times in your there are certain frequencies in your voice that may be overpowering, let's say. And so you'll notice that, let's say a person with a real deep voice, you'll notice they have a lot of bass. Or a person with a high pitched voice, you'll notice that they have a lot of screeching on the high end, you know, stuff like that. So this is what EQ is. It's basically to EQ your voice to make your voice fit better into the beat and better into the mix. Step one when mixing and EQing is the roll off. You always want to roll off, especially in rap vocals. You want to get rid of some of this bass because with raps there's a lot of bass heavy 808s. You have bass lines, you have the kicks, you know, it's a lot of bass, a lot of stuff going on in the bass. Basically the main part of EQing is you don't want any part of the vocals. There are plenty of different instruments that occupy a different range of the mix. You don't want any of these instruments or vocals, your vocals and instruments, so you don't want any of these instruments clashing with each other. So that is why we'll roll off the low end, and depending on how the bass is or how the beat or production is, all strictly depends. So for this particular video, the safest way I always say is and how you change this over is all you gotta do is click and drag onto these types right here, and we're gonna drag this until we see the little roll off heel. It's called a high pass filter. That's the official name terminology. It's a high pass. And what I'm going to do is drop down from the type to the order, and I'm going to roll this up. That way it's a gentle, not a steep, but a gentle 8. And then what we're going to basically do is roll that off until the bass end. So here, I'll start all the way to the back.
At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I see my girl text my cousin phone, but I ain't trip. That's my fam and that's my chick. Let me just see what she sent. My heart stopped when I seen she sent the pic. What the fuck? Is that you? Why you sending my fam news? And why this dude been spending the night and then...
Well, that's embarrassing. How about I actually put it on the right mix? So take two. I'm going to do that roll off. So once again, go to equalizer. I was doing that on the beat. My bad. Gentle 8, roll that off. And then let's see how that sounds now.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
And if you ever want to find out what it actually does to the vocals, experiment, play with it, you know. So I'm gonna roll it all the way up to the beginning to see what it does to it, and then I'll let y'all hear it.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas. Had a thought, she be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing.
All right, so and this is Crazy Story 5. This little freestyle I did for TikTok and stuff. We're back on Freestyle Friday, so if you actually want to hear this, check out my TikTok. You already know what it is. The kid was here, so check that out. But so you see how it's taking off that bass and stuff. So that's what it's essentially doing. So I don't want it to sound thin though. Take out too much bass, you're gonna sound thin. So here we go.
On this flexing nigga, he in our.
And I seen most of my bass be occupying right here, so around 110 hertz. So I'm gonna roll it up to around. The safest thing I say is around 55 hertz, 60 hertz. Or if you completely just want to play it completely safe, go down to 40 hertz, 45 hertz. Basically, that is the range of frequency. Your bass is divided into frequencies from 0 hertz all the way up to, I think it's 32,000 hertz or it's 36,000 hertz. So, and it's just basically saying how I kind of look at vocals is, let's say this is your bass, your mid, and then all the way out to the 36,000 where your sibilance is, basically how you pronounce things, you know. So we'll get more into that later on. Don't worry. If you don't know what it is now, continue to follow the channel. I promise we're going to be explaining a lot of this. So just for the time being, though, let's just get through this. So we're going to roll off the low end.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas. Had a thought, she be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone.
I still hear a little bit of ringing of bass, and that's where my bass range, where my middle of the throat is with that Adam's apple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically only push down this particular area here. So I don't want it wide. So all I'm doing is just scrolling on the mouse wheel to basically slimming up the range of what I'm taking. And I'm basically going to go around 125, 150 hertz. Bring it down softly. With EQing, most of the times you always want to subtract things. You hardly ever want to add things in EQ unless you're doing an additive EQ. More on that later. But most of the times you basically want to just start subtracting things. So I'm going to subtract this bass here.
On this flexing nigga.
Show you before.
On this flexing nigga.
Now I'm going to bring it back down.
On this flexing nigga. He.
So basically when them kicks and stuff come in, it won't be competing with the kicks. So now I'm gonna go ahead. The only thing I usually raise, or people say consider raising, is the high shelf. A high shelf basically is just raising your siblings from anything from, let's say, 7,000, 6,000 on up, and basically gives that presence like you're in my face. But instead, what I usually do is I just drop things instead. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop this down. I'm gonna drop this middle down because that's where, and basically what you're doing is you're basically, if you have to, search your notches, find out where actually is annoying in your voice.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
So that right there, I hear I'm real boxy there. So I'm gonna bring that down just a tad bit.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
Boxy and bassy, so I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. And you're literally gonna be going back and forth with this. This presence, I don't want it to be clipping on my high ends. So
on this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
All right, so that's a good start. We'll come back to that later. Like I said, it's all going back and forth. Next thing you want to do is you want to take off your extra ends. So what I mean by that is, so what we're going to do here is there's a preset, and you don't have to do the preset. I can show you how to do it the other way, but it's called a 20 hertz and an 18 hertz cut. Basically what we're doing is we're cutting out all that extra stuff. So we're going to get rid of anything under 40 hertz, and we're going to get rid of everything over 17 hertz. So I'm gonna scroll that back to 17. And what that is going to basically clean up that extra air noise. So here I'm gonna show you with it off first.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
Now I'm turning it on.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
It basically, all right, this is the range of the vocals. Everything else outside of this, it doesn't matter. Okay. The next thing we're gonna want to do, I'm trying to get through this because I know y'all have, like, I'm trying to respect y'all time. Is we're gonna add a reverb. Reverb is, we know what reverb is. If any of y'all sung in the shower or sung in the cave, that echo, it gives life to the vocal. So
on this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
Turn down that early reflection. Early reflection is just basically you hearing the reverb or hearing reverb before the voice. So, and wet is basically hearing the reverb after the voice occurs. Now, as far as my sound, this all depends on the sound and the vocals and the mood that you're trying to do. Reverb is a great way to establish mood in songs, so use that carefully and tastefully. So as far as this song, since it's a hard trap rap song, I don't want too much reverb. I don't want it to be The Weeknd, Adele type vibe. I want it to be like a dry cut. So
on this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas.
Still hear a little more echo too fast, so I'm gonna turn up the size of the room. And I'm gonna take off the low cut because I don't want basically my voice, my deep voice to reverb. I just want the middle tone of my voice to reverb. So we're gonna turn down the high cut, turn up the low cut basically. Turn the low cut up to 320 hertz and the high cut, I'm turning that down to about 2.5, just keep it safe. And then I'm gonna dampen the vocals because like I said, I don't want this too wet. I just want it to be a little dry on the vocals. So let's see what it sounds like.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas. Had a thought, she be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk.
Okay, I'm not liking, it's a ringing somewhere, so I think it's on the cross. So I'm gonna change that up to like 11 hertz, basically where I want the main reverb to hit.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas. Had a thought, she be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I seen my girl text my cousin phone, but
alright, so turn the reverb down just a little bit. Like I said, you're gonna be playing with this. This is all strictly about how you want your vocals and your style to be. The next thing what we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually turn on the compressor. And compression basically, it makes the softer parts louder and the louder parts softer. And it's basically, you know how the vocals be like, have these, it looks like a wave, like a heartbeat going up and down and stuff. That's parts of your voice where it's different sounds or different levels of volume, or as we say, decibels in the music world. So basically we're gonna squish that together. You don't want, one problem is with compression, a lot of people tend to over compress and it ends up sounding like the vocals are squished like, heck it that from the squishy nigga, Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? So compression is a very fine thing to do, but if used correctly, it would definitely level out all its sounds. So basically, if you're like one of those artists, like, how come my voice sounds louder here, but it doesn't sound, or it sounds softer here? It's because you need a compressor, or you're not using your compressor correctly. So just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna do a quick compression. I'm gonna keep the attack at 15 seconds because I don't want it to attack any sooner than that. I want my vocals to actually punch through the beat. Release, that's basically how long you want the compressor to hold. And we're gonna break down each one of these presets in future videos too. So if you're missing something or don't completely understand, just stand by for the next couple of videos. Subscribe, and I promise we'll have those set out. I'm gonna turn the ratio up to like 6, 7, and I'm turning the threshold down to like 1.2. I don't want it hitting too hard yet. So let's see.
On this flexing nigga, he in Arkansas, had a thought, she be texting niggas, you know hoes can talk.
Yes, love that. All right, the next and one of the final things, and we're almost done with the first like mix. This is just a quick mix, just trying to give you all the basics. Last things what you want to basically find out or want to know is basically pitch correction or auto-tune, depending on who and what you want your sound to be like. I'm a person now in this day and age that I feel even if you are rapping, you need to have a slight pitch correction on it. Only because our voices are natural. And it's hard for a human being to talk in the same tone. We're not monotone creatures. So even if we're not monotone creatures, even when we're rapping or singing or even just simply verses, your voice tends to go out of pitch. Hell, me as a person talking to you right now, just giving you simple tricks and tips, my voice be cracking or it goes high and low and stuff like that. Let's say if you don't know what pitch your song is in. So a lot of times artists, especially engineers, it's important to know what pitch your song is in, not just for the producer, not just for the artist, but also the mixer, engineer, because we all need to be in the same field and having the same exact tonal pitch, excuse me. So if you don't know how to find a key, or if you don't know the key, one thing that you could do is take the beat, and we're going to go into this thing I like to use, a free online pitch finder. If you don't have one, I found someone put me on this audiokeychain.com. audiokeychain.com. I'll drop the link in the description below if you need it. And basically, it's an online pitch finder. So we're just gonna hit add tracks. We're going to find the beat, and where was that at? I think it's in my downloads. Yeah, right there. King Von instrumental. We're gonna upload it, and it's gonna find us to tell us the pitch. So we'll wait short a few seconds. All right, so it's an F minor and in 4/8. You don't have to worry about the 4/8, but as of right now, the key is an F minor. Okay, so it's an F minor key. So what we're gonna go now to, and I will have a whole video about how to use auto-tune too. We're gonna turn on some auto-tune or pitch correction, whichever is your favorite. Me, I prefer using auto-tune because auto-tune you can use it as a pitch corrector. Pitch correction, you can't use it as auto-tune, if that makes sense. So, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn that slightly up. I want to humanize it. Get my settings in there, and I'm gonna change the key to F minor. So F, not F major, F minor. And then let's see what. And then I'm gonna bring that all the way to the top because since I didn't turn it on my actual recording, I'm gonna have to have that as the first layer of presets. The reason why is because I don't want the auto tune to be correcting my presets and the edits we just made. I want it to actually correct my voice. The first thing is correct my voice. So let's see what we got now. And we're gonna press play.
Crazy stories from the drop on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas, had a thought, she be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk, at the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I see my girl text my cousin phone, but I ain't trip, that's my fam and that's my chick. Let me just see what she sent. My heart stopped when I seen she sent the pic. What the fuck? Is that you? Why you sending my fam news? And
all right, I'm liking that. The last few things that I would do is I would slightly add Maximus. Mostly for Maximus is I could turn the volume up, but I'm not going to do that for this purpose. Maximus has a great multi-band compressor. And basically a multi-band compressor, we already talked about compressing already, but we just compressed the entire vocal of itself. Now one of the fine things that you start doing is you want to go through each pitch section. So your lows, your mids, your highs. And basically you want to make sure that they are not peaking or doing too much either. So just for the sake of this video, I'll just do it real quickly and short. Actually, I got presets. And my preset, all it is what I'll do is I'll right click here to create a point, and then I'll basically lower that down, basically telling the compressor I don't want any part of the low end to come past this volume level here. Any part in the middle, and any part of the highs. And then lastly, just to be on the safe side, I'll even add one more compressor, a soft compressor, on the entire vocal itself, and let's see what it does.
The drop on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas, had a thought. She be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I seen my girl text my cousin phone, but I ain't trip. That's my fam and that's my chick. Let me just see what she sent. My heart stopped when I seen she sent the pic. What the fuck? Is that you? Why you sending my fam news? And why this dude been spending the night and then acting like we cool? Oh, him too? Oh, you told him that you fucked my best friend too?
Alright. So now, let's put it up with the beat, and let's see what we got. And once again, once the beat come back on, so there's different styles of beats. So one thing I recommend, too, is to mix the vocals first, and then mix the vocals with the beat, okay? And then you can go ahead and send it off to mastering, because basically I say recognize what's in the vocals that you already don't like off the rip, and then but don't focus too much into it, because you still, at the end of the day, you're not mixing your vocals a cappella. You're mixing your vocals and basically saying what sounds good with the beat, what sounds good with the entire mix. So this doesn't, even if we did all that work, if it doesn't sound good with the mix, or if there's certain things, we'll just have to go back and fine tune it, you know? So like I said, mixing is literally just going back and forth, and here we are.
The drop on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas, had a thought. She be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I seen my girl text my cousin phone, but I ain't trip. That's my fam and that's my chick. Let me just see what she sent. My heart stopped when I seen she sent the pic. What the fuck? Is that you? Why you sending my fam news? And why this dude been spending the night and then acting like we cool? Oh, him too? Oh, you told him that you fucked my best friend too? Damn, is that what you been doing in college down in TSU?
Alright, so that's a quick version of how to mix, you guys. Definitely have more videos on that. Hit me up with some questions if I run into some problem stuff, if you want more explanations on certain things, or if you want me to deep dive. Definitely would deep dive these presets and have videos on explaining how to use these presets in future videos, so stay tuned for that. Stay subscribed. I definitely got you on that. As far as that, that's all I really got, y'all. Y'all keep grinding, staying humble, and spreading good energy in the process. I'll catch you guys later. The kid was here.
Got the drop on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas, had a thought. She be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I seen my girl text my cousin phone. Based on a true story. Crazy stories from the 5. Got the drop on this flexing nigga. He in Arkansas, had a thought. She be texting niggas. You know hoes can talk. At the car wash with my fam, rinsing off the suds and phone. I was in the car when I seen my girl text my cousin phone.